The Greed Island arc from Hunter x Hunter might be the most underrated arc in the series. Personally, I really enjoyed watching it, but some people online rank it as their least favourite arc. I think people don't like it that much because the YorkNew City arc was just that good. It had literally everything a banger arc would need. And to follow it up, they gave us the much anticipated Greed Island, which was the whole reason they went to the YorkNew auction in the first place. And to be honest, it fell short of people's expectations. But not mine, I did really enjoy it. Now there's a lot of things that I love about Greed Island, and there's a lot of things it could have done better. So let's talk about it. And of course, major spoilers for the plot. So our boys Gon and Killua are finally back as a dynamic duo, which is nice after Kurapika took the lead in the last arc. Obviously these boys lose the auction, but they find out this guy, Batera, who's a billionaire by the way, bought all the copies of Greed Island. And he's actually hiring experienced hunters to go into the game for him. They find this billionaire and let him know about the memory card that they have that Jing left them. So Sezgera is this hunter who's been hired by the billionaire guy. He asks to see their nen and basically calls it trash. We get a mini training section of them developing their own techniques. Sezgera sounds so goofy in the dub as well, like it's actually ridiculous. Killua's new technique is to transfer his aura into electricity, which is obviously ideal with him being a transmuter, but damn, it looks so cool. Gon struggles to think up his own ability, gives Big Dog Wing a ring. Wing says that enhancers don't really need a special move, and that Gon just needs to show a combination of all of his techniques. This eventually leads to his enhanced punch being developed. Both Killua and Gon passed the test to become a Greed Island player, with Killua demonstrating his abilities on screen and Gon winning off screen with a loud bang. God, I just love it. The Lightning and Killua just work hand in hand, honestly. Gon, being the main character, gets to go into the game first, and at this point they've already said goodbye to both Leorio and Kurapika, who will be missed, can I just say. Both of them were key characters in the last arc, and I'm going to be honest, I can't wait to see them again. Gon enters Greed Island using his dad's save file and his ring, which leads to my first opinion, which might be spicy, or it might not be, but I'm going to say it anyways. I actually really enjoyed the premise of Greed Island. I've seen online that some people dislike it for it feeling more like an isekai, or like a quote-unquote fantasy, but I enjoyed it. Greed Island is based around cards and a book where you can contain these cards, and these cards can be used as like real-life powers, which is cool. People don't like this because it's more childish and light-hearted, which I can understand. We've just came off of the really serious YorkNew City arc, so some people might be surprised at how different this arc felt. Yes, the stake and the villains of this arc were completely nothing compared to YorkNew City, so I can understand that side of the coin, but obviously it didn't stop me binging through these episodes. To complete Greed Island, you need to collect 100 cards, numbered from 1 to 100, and you have 3 slots where you can, use any of these cards. The explanation of this card system was very long, had me fully locked in, and I was almost ready to take notes, because there's so many different abilities, saying gain if you want to use a card, cards only being allowed to be converted a certain amount of times, etc, etc. Christ, it was a long ass explanation, but obviously it was needed to set up this arc. After all of this being explained, Gon enters of course, and he gets a message from Jing, who basically said, this game ain't gonna do shit when it comes to trying to find me. I just wanted you to play it because I'm a massive show off. When they were in the game, they get pulled up on by some random user. He uses some cards here and there, hits Killua with a trace, but then my boy, Aura Farmer right here, shows his malicious intent and scares this geezer away. They go grab some pasta, chomp chomp, get their first card, but they're distracted straight away by someone crashing in the town center. Dead. We're introduced to the side characters. We've got this cheeky rascal right here, some other OG players who tell them about cards, and explain that the person who died was killed by some terrorist called the Bomber. Okay, this geezer looks like a frog. I'll talk about these two later. And this guy looks like he's got a beehive on top of his head. The group asks Gon and Killua to team up to steal spells from other players to finally clear the game, but they both say hell nah. Gon and Killua's friendship is obviously amazing, and it grows and it's flourishing, and we see Biscuit Kruger. This lady is too funny. She was actually crashing out when Killua said she would slow Gon and Killua down on their journey to Macedora. We also see these sneaky rascals, the Phantom Troop, have actually made it into the game as well. We can see that Quarterpie can't make copies of the cards in game, and they unveil the fact that it's not in a fantasy location. It's actually based in the real world, which means they wouldn't even need to beat the game to reap the reward this game has to offer. I really like this trio of Bisky, Killua, and Gon. I think Killua is too funny in some of these situations, especially because he's always underestimating Bisky. They also cook up some monsters and then start their training arc with her, who, let me make this clear, learnt Nen 40 years ago. When I heard that, my jaw dropped to the absolute floor. She's ancient. Okay, ancient's a push. She's getting up there. The scissor guy shows us that this girl is a Nen demon. Definitely a high-class hunter. She's 57 years old. She's genuinely older than my mum, bro. And the fact that she's keeping up with the youthful Gon and Killua, crazy work. Bisky's here in search of the precious gemstone called a blue planet. I think this reflects her status as a hunter, because I'm pretty sure she's a treasure hunter, like a pirate. He laughed. Ha ha ha. After Gon lets her know that his dad is Jing Freeze, we find out that the chairman Netero said that Jing is in the top 5 strongest Nen users of all time, which is so bloody interesting. Like, I can't wait to see Jing just in the actual anime or in the manga. Who knows? Also, if we will ever see him in battle, I really want to see him fight. If he's top 5 strongest and he made Greed Island as well with his friends, he's got to be some sort of GOAT. They then go through some intensive training arc with Bisky, fighting for literally days, thousands of push-ups, lots of running. Now, I will say some people wouldn't enjoy this kind of format, but I do. You know, we really immerse ourselves in the world of Nen, understanding the abilities and the powers to every single minute effect. We also understand that whilst these boys have got potential, they still need to work stupidly hard to get stronger. But this training does have a really important purpose, and that is to prepare them for the Chimera Ant arc, which is obviously their biggest challenge yet. Now, I'm only like 20 or 30 episodes in, but I can already see the difference in tone, difficulty level for the actual characters, and power. My next few videos will be on this arc, so make sure to subscribe and keep the notification bell on so that you do not miss it. It's a banger, trust me. Back to Greed Island though. Bisky teaches them the importance of defensive Nen, specifically Ken, which is like keeping your Ren, which is the aura around your body, for a prolonged period of time. Bisky says something super crucial, so listen close. She says if your Nen power is greater than your opponent's, they'll hardly be able to do much damage to you, which is actually an amazing premise by Togashi, and is displayed with Gon and Killua sparring each other. Because they have the same Nen output, they can spar without like even having to worry about damaging one another. Another little fun Nen effect added in this arc is Ryu. Ryu is the art of changing Nen around your body. So for example, putting 50% of your entire body's aura into a punch, and the other 50% covering the rest of your body. Back to the story side of the arc though. We zoom in on Genthru and his gang in a meeting, saying that they only need 10 more specified slot cards to clear the game. But they also let us know Sesgera is closing in on them. Then this geezer walks up to the front, and no way guys, you know, who would have guessed it, man? The suspicious looking guy, who looks like a villain, coincidentally, you guessed it, is a villain. Announcing that he himself is the terrorist named the Bomber, which is, oh, it's so... This one was annoying because this one was predictable. I knew this geezer was sus the second I saw him. They're malicious glasses, man. We see him blast this boy's face using Little Flower, which is a close distance attack. He reveals he's planted bombs on literally everyone, and he sets some goofy ass conditions saying that you can only stop these bombs by touching him and saying, I've caught the bomber. Bro, at that point, just blow me up, bro. It's such an unserious technique. In the last arc, we had the Zoldycks with their awesome abilities, and Chrollo who can steal abilities. And now we've got to catch the bomber. Obviously, it feels less intense than the last arc, and really falls in line with the first 2 arcs of Hunter x Hunter, feeling more like shonen-like. No! Not the frog guy, man! Big rip for this fella. Can I just say, Hunter x Hunter is so bipolar, honestly. On some occasions, everything's all light-hearted, you know, training in the canyons with the gang together, you know, all fun, all games. And next thing you know, Genthru's blowing up faces and delivered this guy's head in a bloody plastic bag. This guy is the goofiest villain yet. I honestly reckon he would love Hisoka. I won't lie, I saw Froggy in the bag. I had to lock the hell in. Whilst these guys seem unserious and their powers are weird as hell, they do pose a major threat to stop people in this story. We then get a scenery shift to the Phantom Troop. Boy oh boy. These guys back at it again. Their dream is short-lived as we see Mr. Aura walk them down. Look at this guy. Built straight like a JoJo's character. He's called Razor. I mean, literally thinks a strong member of the Phantom Troop called him strong. So that's all we need to know. Razor proceeds to use a creator's card only. Basically, get the hell out of my island. Now this guy is actually clip farming for some reason. Going on that Nishida level spike with Nen. Like, what is this guy actually doing? He is obviously, you know, different gravy. And of course, his dodgeball game versus Gon and the others is historical. But more on that later. Killua has to leave the island to go and take the hunter exam in the real world. And now we see this geezer called Abagane, I believe. Kind of French name. Abagane. Anyways. He actually is a Nen exorcist and can summon this Nen beast to swallow up the outside of a Nen, like, / Nen curse that was put on his body. I'm pretty sure he's able to lift Chrollo's curse, which is why these troops are on the island. The chain, the judgment chain that Kurapika left on them. And I'm pretty sure they do mention it later on. But, you know, we see this Nen Beast eat his Nen Curse from the outside. So I don't know how he would go through Chrollo's chest and into his heart. That doesn't make that much sense. Abogane did this just in time. Because after the crew handed over their cards to Genthru, they say, calm. We'll deactivate the bombs on you. They put their thumbs together and say release. Nothing short of a massacre goes down. Not to the same scale of YorkNew City, of course, which is annoying. I feel like I'm going to compare every single Hunter x Hunter arc to YorkNew City. Because it really just was. It really was that good, man. Like, the bomber is a cool threat. But, man, sometimes his evilness seems to just be evil for the sake of evil and for money. Which is like Dio. But obviously he's not that bad. Dio's a generational hater. The bomber's just evil for evil's sake. Now, Killua. He might be my favourite character in this arc, of course. He's literally just him. I'm not trying to sound like I'm glazing him too much, but he actually is him. He goes into this Hunter exam. You know, we see some familiar faces. These triplets. My goat, Tonka. Ponzo, I believe his name is. And we see him knock literally everyone out. This guy was speed blitzing like a prime Sunjin Woo. Like, he fully is Zenitsu, moving at lightning speeds at all times, man. Obviously, because he knocked out like 1,200 people, he like literally instantly passes. And because he already knows Nen, he's officially a hunter. They use this card to see who they've interacted with, and they see bloody Chrollo on this list. Now, I was about to fully crash out, because there's no way this guy's back so soon to wreak havoc. Oh my god. He's back again. Hisoka, man. This guy genuinely never leaves this story alone. And obviously, we already know my opinions on this guy. He's a freak. And the least nonchalant guy of all time, but obviously more on him later. The Three Musketeers then go around completing different tasks to get their cards. You know, punching a tree to find a beetle. It really shows the difficulty of them, man. We see this lucky dice. Killua being a diehard on these slot machines, which made me chuckle. His like facial expressions are always so funny. We see Genthru and Zezgera team up to do some card trades, where them boys got robbed, man. Free up. These lucky dice helps the bomber steal some valuable cards, which I'm not going to lie, is a cool game mechanic. Now this is where some people start to dislike this arc, and it's obviously because of the clear pacing issues. The main focus shifted away from catching the bomber, and zoomed in really on claiming cards, which, you know, once Greed Island is over, doesn't have any relevance. But I didn't watch the anime like that. This is what people are saying online. You know, I watched it to enjoy the journey with the gang. You know, journey, not the destination, man. I'm watching them grow stronger. I'm watching them grow older. I got a little older. I didn't think about the pacing or anything. I just wanted to appreciate it for what it is. And that's entertainment, man. I've seen loads of people in the comments say that they love the Greed Island for the very reason that it's more like a shonen. And it is more like kind of slice of lifey. And that they say it's good to spend time with these characters because the next arc is like so serious. And obviously people have mentioned to me that they would do anything to watch Hunter x Hunter again for the first time. Which I already know I'm going to say when I finished it. Now we get this antagonist. I wouldn't call him a villain or a bad guy, but I would say he is an opponent. That's the right word. And this is Razor and his crew. It was some long old challenge to beat him. And his connections to Ging? His connections to Jing are cool as well. And in my opinion, he might have been Gon's biggest challenge. You know, even though he does face the goofy Genthru later, Razor is one of the game masters. And to beat him, and to get a certain card, they've got to face him and his crew as a team. So our crew decides to make a team. Ha ha ha. And obviously, Gon and Killua can't help themselves. They use an accompany card and basically fast travel to Chrollo Lucilfa. Or at least, they thought that was going to be him. Oh, we get this guy again. My good golly. I thought the showering scene in Heaven's Arena was bad, but now I'm actually convinced that Togashi was just taking the piss. Like, is this fan service, man? I don't know. We see Hisoka booty naked in the swamp. Thank God this branch was here, man. And I'm genuinely scared to show some of these frames. But, you know, by good grief, this guy is actually doing too much. Bisky as a character is actually kind of funny. Like, at first, I thought she was just goofy. But these three as like a mentor to student trio work really well together. Like, when Hisoka lied about being in Greed Island, Bisky knew. Not because she's a telepath or a psychic or she reads star signs. No, because she's been lying for 50 years. And then she just proceeds to cackle like a wicked witch.
That's actually pretty convincing.
Okay, Hisoka, we get it, man. You like strong people. Now, can you please stop staring at their ass, bruv? Come on. When looking for more powerful members to join their game against Razor, they find Zezgera. trying to flex his levitation powers. Little did they know Gon and Killua needed this viral clip. So they bounce all up there. It is like such a random scene, but it does highlight how crazy gifted and talented these guys are. Also, I don't know how or why, but I saw this clip like years ago. I only remembered it once I watched the anime. Okay, their team against Razor is geeked. We've got 6 nerd NPC guys, Hisoka, the 3 musketeers at the front, which is good, Gorilla Guy, and Sesgera's crew in their matching PJs. Now imagine your school sports day, but with different events, and it's not at school. I mean, hopefully you weren't doing boxing in your sports day, but you know, if you catch my drift, that's what this challenge is about. Physical activity. Razor then kills Queso right in front of our main cast, and he threw that projectile like he's in the MLB. I'm assuming this means he's an emitter, can I just say. He calls out the crew for a game of dodgeball, which is obviously Nen dodgeball. And this guy, Gorenu, he's the gorilla guy. He's a Nen emitter who can create 2 different gorillas. And do you know who he reminds me of? Yuji's right-hand man. He has a stupidly similar power to Todo. Todo has an ability where when he claps his hands, he can switch with literally anything at will. Gorilla Guy, as I'm going to call it, can switch places with the white gorilla telepathically, which is actually just ridiculous. This guy's potential is so sky high. And his black gorilla, he can switch anyone of his liking with it, which basically means he can be the master of surprise attacks. I mean, even Razor, who is incredulously strong, like stupidly strong, gave him credit where credit's due here. Obviously, Grinu's power is very important in this dodgeball game, as he can dodge and weave at his own liking. Okay, Razor is trying to be nonchalant. This guy's catching the ball like that? Okay, maybe a hot take, says Gera. This guy is an NPC. How are you a single-starred hunter getting absolutely smoked in this dodgeball game? Before people like blooming Gon and Killua. You're supposed to be more experienced, man. Hisoka's bungee gum that has properties of both rubber and gum, alright, you know? You guys flame me in the comments when I didn't give this necessary explanation. Hisoka gets tricked by Razor merging his dummies and proceeds to throw that right into his face. Gon really thought that Ken would be enough. I mean, hell nah. My boy got smacked out of the arena on some One Punch Man action. Monkey Guy caught Razor lacking, who obviously glazes his Todo-like power. I mean, they almost got Hisoka, but bro really hit that limbo. That Michael Jackson-ass lean, and caught the ball, but it did lead to Bisky being kicked out. Gon goes like crazy and supercharges up this big old John Ken rock attack. Razor returns it like he's in Haikyuu, thinking he's the GOAT, but Hisoka uses his devious bungee gum to snag that ball in the air. I want to give our boy Killua the shout out he deserves. He's definitely my favourite character in this arc, by a good bit as well. I mean, we've seen major character development, but Killua really takes the cake for this one. His electric Nen ability is the coolest, and he is actually a proper bro to Gon. Just look at this geezer's hands after Gon kept on doing his show me rock attack. This guy's looking like Thanos, man, jeez. The 2 goats, alongside Hisoka, stop Razor's mighty attack. Razor, you know, he's got his connections to Jing, of course, but after seeing Gon's true aura, he said that Jing should be proud, because our boy is a monster. Kaboom! A monster attack. And then after Razor's deflection, Gon the goofball passes out onto the floor. And Hisoka deflects it, thanks to the properties of rubber and gum. And they win.
There's no way, say you swear to God.
We get more card trading, you know, getting shit done, wrapping this arc up. Oh, and we see the Phantom Troop find Killua's sister, which is Kaluto Zoldyck, who's actually joined the Phantom Troop, alongside Illumi. Genthru and the NPC guy have a game of tag, and Gon does a tad little bit of training. The billionaire who bought all the Greed Island games, Batera, was also really interesting. We only find out like near the end of this arc that he only wanted one item in this game to bring back to the real world, and that was to save his dying partner.
Is this your daughter? Or granddaughter, perhaps? She was my lover. Huh?
Okay, she does look a bit too young for him, I'm not gonna lie. She's looking a bit youthful. But, you know, jokes aside, a pretty gripping moment. All he needed was that Angel's Breath card, but, you know, it was too late. She died. Now, the finale of this arc at long last. Genthru and his squad versus the 3 musketeers. This ain't even a jumping, because they knew he was on the way. Also, I don't like Genthru as a villain, I'm going to be honest. Might be a hot take. I think he's absolutely arse cheeks compared to both Hisoka and Crollo. He's genuinely just evil for the sake of evil, and, you know, I don't know. He just didn't have the same impact on me that characters like Crollo had. Definitely one of the arc's biggest weaknesses. Killua is my GOAT. You know, he helps separate Genthru's group. So now they're all doing their little one-on-one battles, which is legendary, of course. Hunter x Hunter has always been known for their unique fights, and that you don't need to always win by your physical strength. Strategy is always super important here. So Gon gets kicked and punched up and down like a ragdoll for a good episode and a bit. Bisky, on the other hand, does the kicking and punching. This might have been the most surprising and shocking thing I've ever seen in Hunter x Hunter. She fully hopped on steroids for like, 1 or 2 cycles. Had that JoJo's build like Razor. I had to rub my eyes and look again when I saw this though. And her voice sounds like she's on test, bro. It's too funny.
I'm too buff and I hate it!
Back to our favorite character. He takes this battle as an opportunity to test his skill when it comes to Nen. His lightning strike isn't KO worthy just yet, but it still does a decent amount of damage to his opponent. And this notorious yo-yo that he uses, man. 50 kilos of pure damage. Killua really has some nice fight IQ. Like, he made a fake blind spot to open up a weakness of his opponent. And all of this to kill him. Or not kill him, but to attack him with a second hidden yo-yo. Couldn't expect anything else from the heir to the Zoldyck family throne. Ooh, scary. Genthru's got red aura, man. He ain't tricking me. I don't think he's scary. I think Gon is a dumbass, man. Like, yeah, he's stupidly strong and he can breeze through a hunter exam with, like, no training. But this fight really showed that he's mentally, still a kid. Killua has that high fight IQ and the experience of a fully fledged hunter, which is a nice contrast compared to Reckless Boy over here. I think it's actually a really good thing that Togashi did. Gon still has a weakness and he's not just overpowered. It really shows that he's still a child. I'm a bit harsh. He was just sticking to the game plan that he'd made with Bisky and Killua before. However, he's emotional, as kids are. And he scraps the plan and just decides to fight. For some reason, this guy sacrifices pretty much both of his hands just to get one singular rock punch. Crazy guy. Now, some of you might say it was a masterful plan with the best tactics ever. I don't think so, though. I think it was reckless as hell. Don't get me wrong, the boulder that he spawned in above Genthru to take him down was a pretty nice tactic. But if Genthru dodged that, or just did anything to avoid it, or even attack Gon at that time, he would have been toast. Gon would have been cooked. Now Genthru's tied up like a good boy. And they use Angel's Breath's card to fully restore everyone's health. Now let me just gas up Jing and his mates, how strong they really are, because they made a Nen card that can literally fully heal anybody. Which is, very, very impressive, Mr. Nonchalant. Goreno got paid 4 billion with a B and gave each of the 3 musketeers $1 billion each. Bisky's bipolar reaction really highlights how funny she is as a character, not gonna lie. And I do really like her. There's then a quiz for card number 0, the final card for the crew. And of course, he's the main character. Gon wins. We see Abogane the Exorcist leave Greed Island with Hisoka. Definitely ready to bring Chrollo's Nen back, which is nice. I'm sure we'll see a fight between Hisoka and Chrollo soon. And best believe I'ma cover it here on this channel. Gon then goes to one of the game developers after beating the game and goes into the absolute dumpster he lives in. I'm pretty sure this was a reference to Togashi himself. There was this photo I saw of him working in such carnage as well, which is, it's funny. We hear some more lore about Jing, that Greed Island is each named after the first letter of the 10 creators. And we hear that Jing legally changed one of his mates' name to make it start with a D or something. I really wish, look, I know it's not going to happen, but I wish we could have a Hunter x Hunter story of Jing's past side quests. Because the stuff he's done so far has been gassed up to the highest level. We then get fireworks and a parade to celebrate the win. And they each choose a card. And we see Bisky? And we see Bisky celebrate her lovely gem, which is very wholesome. They then transform their cards in the real world and use it to say this.
Accompany on! Nig!
Which smoothly wraps up the ending of Greed Island. Now my favourite characters are Goreno and Bisky for a joint second place. And of course Killua is in my number 1 slot. Shout out to Gon though. Good development as well. All the characters develop so much in this arc, which is great. And they seem like a great big leap in their Nen abilities. They're getting stronger. Goreno definitely has the coolest Nen ability we've seen in this show so far. Besides Chrollo maybe. Oh, and 100% this Goreno guy is going to be super strong in future arcs. Bisky will of course be missed. But Chimera and arc, here we come. Now what about the negatives? Because, this was no perfect arc. Some people will say that Greed Island lacks the high stakes and the emotional depth that came with other arcs like YorkNew City. And I can agree with this. Whilst the challenges are fun, they don't really feel like a life or death situation. There are also moments where it's like repetitive, the constant card collecting or training sequences. And whilst it is enjoyable, it doesn't really have the same vibe that YorkNew City had. You know, YorkNew City is still my favourite arc in this story, but I definitely thought this arc was good. It was super entertaining. I enjoyed it as a shonen. It was like really nice to sit through, binge, watch our cast of characters grow and develop. But I'm going to be honest, it has the worst replayability. Like, I don't think I would enjoy watching them explain this card system again. For this being my first time watch, it was very, very good. What is your opinion on Greed Island? You know, please let me know in the comments, and I'll try and respond to as many as I can. I'm giving this arc a solid 8 out of 10, which is, you know, higher than both Heaven's Arena and the Hunter exam. But this is just because I really love the cast of the characters and the Hunter x Hunter world we lived in. And when I tell you, man, Chimera Ant arc is where Togashi cooked. I actually mean it. So subscribe, use your Nen Yo-Yos to smack the notification bell on. I am going to give a warning though. I'm not going to cover all of Chimera Ant in one video. It's like a 60 episode arc. So I'm probably going to split it into 3. I'm very, very glad they're moving away from the use of cards. And I've been warned by you guys in the comments that Chimera Ant is pretty much a seinen. I'm gassed, and I'm ready for the character growth. I'm ready to cover these epic fights and to see the finale of one of the most hyped up arcs in Hunter x Hunter itself. Until then though, you have to wait and see. You'll definitely love watching the best jumpings in anime, which I've recently covered. And if you're looking for more Hunter x Hunter videos, I finally made a playlist on my channel so you can binge through the lot. Now goodbye. Mwah. Kisses.